Hi, everyone. I'm Katie McLean, and I'm the CEO of Tusk Hub. And today we're here to talk about the growth movement, and our subject today is customer success. I'd like to introduce you to Karen Hogg. Karen's an executive in the customer success field, mostly in technology. Karen, welcome.
Thanks, Katie. I'm excited to be here and share some of my thoughts on something that I'm really passionate about, customer success.
That's amazing. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the field of customer success. It's still a
Sure,
relatively new field, right?
it is, but I would say that I've been in customer success as long as I've had a job. I love working with customers. It's something that gives me a lot of pleasure. And even my part-time jobs when I was a teenager involved me working with and serving customers. So when I started my first real job in the tech space more than 20 years ago, I actually started in enterprise sales. And I was responsible not only for selling the solution, but also responsible for the ongoing relationship. And it was really that ongoing relationship that allowed me to see the process of how customers go about getting value from the solution that they had invested in, that I had sold them. I became really curious about learning more about that. And I guess that's what really prompted me to make the switch from the sales side to the customer success side.
That makes a lot of sense. Like more and more, it's important in software as a service model or sort of the subscription economy that a client is consistently pleased with the product and the service of the organization. So, can you give me an example of a company that does it well?
From my perspective, anyway, on the consumer side, I think that Starbucks is a great example of a company that provides great customer success. So, pre-COVID, I used to travel a fair bit for business, and so the Starbucks app made it really easy for me to find, my preferred coffee drink, the way, the brew that I liked, and the way that I liked it prepared, and consistent choices in terms of what I might have for breakfast. The app let me find something close to my hotel or close to the office that I was going to. And if I was traveling out of the country, I never had to worry about, do I have the right change for the foreign currency? So it just made the process, really simple. I always knew what to expect. I got a tasty cup of coffee. And usually got some exercise in before I started my day when I walked to
That's
the Starbucks location. And so, it ticked all the boxes for me in terms of providing value.
That makes sense. But tell me, did you do it because you had to order really complicated, like double mocha, extra skinny, extra hot? No?
No, actually, I'm just a straight up coffee with cream kind of girl.
Well, so can you talk to me about sort of the importance of going all the way from, let's say it's a startup of a company, the purpose and values and culture of a company, to the marketing and branding, to the sales, to the service and customer success. Talk to me about like the importance of that aligning for a customer.
Yeah, that's a great question, because each one of those things really is an input or a touch point into the overall journey that the customer has with you. So right from the beginning, in terms of what kind of culture do you want to create for your company, and how your employees reflect that out into the world, from your marketing messaging through your sales processes all the way onto your post sales processes. Each one of those is an opportunity to touch and reinforce your customers. And so it's really important to have each one of those be aligned around the customer, and really to create a customer centric company. And so not just thinking about is this good for the customer, but how are we really creating the best possible outcome for the customer in each step of the way.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And so what does it mean when, I know this is a customer success term, but time to first value for a customer? Can you give me an example of that?
Sure. So time to first value, it's not really that complicated. It's just how long does it take for you to get, for the customer to get the first win out of using your product or service. And the trick is it could be anywhere from minutes to months. So from a minutes perspective, think about Uber. You download Uber on your phone, you enter your credit card information, you call up your car, and off you go to your destination. So that's, an example of minutes, but it could range on a more complex business scenario to months and months and months. And depending on your subscription model, whether that's a monthly subscription or an annual subscription, it's really important to make sure that you are delivering that first value in a time frame before the customer needs to make a decision about whether or not they want to continue on with you. Because if they haven't been receiving value, the risk that they're going to cancel their subscription and go somewhere else, is pretty high. So it's really important to make sure that you're measuring and understanding time to first value, and that you are making sure that you're doing everything that you can to shorten that so that the customer is getting value as quickly as possible. And if they're on a 30-day monthly subscription, you want them to be getting value on day 2 or day 3, not on day 27.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And I guess from first value, you know, that amount of time varying so vastly, it's important to sort of set the expectation properly with the client right from the beginning as to when they'll reach that first value.
For sure. And that actually goes back to aligning all of those functions together. It's really important that, when the sales team is uncovering, kind of what exactly that customer value is, or if you're a product led, offering, when your product and your marketing team are, sort of coming forward with that value, it's really important that that translates over onto the customer success side, so that the customer success team can make sure that everything that they're doing in terms of engaging with the customer is focused on helping the customer achieve that value. You've got the right training, the right tools, the right knowledge base, self-service, all of those things that easily support the customer in getting what they need to be successful in order to get the value out of the product. I actually switched mobile providers once. They had the best national coverage, but I had to deal with their customer support organization on a fairly regular basis, and it was such a painful process. I could never get my questions answered online. I could never find what I needed. I had to call them, and it was a terrible situation. And so I switched because I just wasn't getting the value that I needed.
Yeah, you sound like my father actually. He's 89 and he recently switched his cable
I sound like I'm 89.
Yeah, you sound like an old man. No, he wasn't happy with his cable service, and whenever he had an issue and he'd get on the phone, like you, they couldn't seem to help him. So he actually switched to a cable provider that was more economical, and he believed would provide better service. And if you could imagine how difficult it would be for someone like him to make a change and learn the new technology, but he still did it. So that means, that's very important that the customer is continually getting value from your product. One last question, Karen. And speaking about sort of time to risk value, how do you go about working with a client to ask them for a referral to another client? What's important in that?
Well, obviously, you want to make sure that the client has gotten some value out of their solution, your solution, that they're happy, and that they have had a positive, impactful relationship with you, to even if you're still early, there needs to be some form of a win for the client. And
Yeah.
you should have been engaging with them, through your community and through your customer success team in some way, so that it doesn't feel like you're coming from out of the blue and asking for, this referral. Like, where is this coming from? I haven't heard from you, in a while. The customer shouldn't feel like that. So it's helpful if you can be specific in the referral that you're asking for.
Right.
Would you like them to make a quote that is going to go on your website? Would you like them to do a G2 crowd review? Would you like them to do a case study? So really be specific in terms of what you're asking that they can provide input on. And then once it's done, it seems so simple, but it's so important to close the loop and to thank them. Thank them for the time that they spent on providing that referral. And of course, thank them for supporting you and your business.
That makes perfect sense, obviously. And it seems that what you're saying is you have to earn the referral, of course. And once you do that, then, you're just creating a bigger community of your clients, and hopefully they can work together also to be successful with the product. Well, thank you, Karen. I've learned a lot today about customer success, and I hope everyone else has too. Thank you.
Bye.